Villains. A necessary evil when it comes to movies, shows, and comics. Though everyone is in love with heroes, there can be no hero without a villain. And if you're a DC fan, you understand that every major superhero has their complementary villain. Superman has Lex Luthor, and Batman has the Joker. Spider-Man, who's not DC, but I'll mention him here just because he's so popular, has the Green Goblin. In some cases, these superstar villains have a fandom of their own. Just take the Joker. What I have for you today is a couple of villains. Some worse than others, but all these were at one point bad. Some of them have been bad from the get-go, while others start off good, or at least with good intentions, but end up going left. What I also will do is talk about a fight scene that I feel like encapsulates everything that they are. Faora-Ul. Now, she's a very interesting villain. For me, she's one of those people that have been steered wrong their whole life, maybe even before their life began, because she was genetically selected to be a warrior. Sorry, did I say genetically selected? Let me say genetically engineered. That sounds a lot more cool and serious. My fascination with Faora, and to a lesser extent Zod and all the other Kryptonians that come to Earth, is the fact that they are Kryptonians just like our Superman, except apparently we got the weak version of the Kryptonian. I mean, Zod and Faora are part of a group of warriors who have been genetically engineered. That means they are the pinnacle of fighting capabilities, whereas Superman was a natural birth. I mean, obviously Superman's powerful as hell, but imagine if we got like one of those genetically engineered guys who was also raised on Earth, who spent all their formative years basking in our yellow sun. Now, obviously, you can make the argument that she was also genetically engineered to be, to lack empathy, emotion, and a sense of morality. So chances are, even if she did grow up in small town Kansas, she might still have grown up to become a psychopathic murdering god. But what I want to know, and maybe I should have did the research myself, but is Superman different because he spent his whole life just basking in the yellow sun? Like, are you more powerful the longer you absorb the sun? But then again, he was getting his ass beat by the Kryptonians, who only recently arrived on Earth, who only recently started absorbing our yellow sun. So again, his weakness as not being a genetically engineered Kryptonian is showing. Now I'm going to talk about one of the greatest fight scenes in superhero movie history. The fight versus Superman, Faora, and her goon. The dialogue was great. The fight scene was great. The lady that plays Faora was great. She executed the character perfectly, and she looked bad as hell. And it was great seeing Superman actually losing for once. These are his match when it comes to opponents. The scene where she calls him weak and unsure of himself, and how she tells him that she has an evolutionary advantage, that was awesome. Oh, and God, the scene where she's going so fast that it looks like she's teleporting from one soldier to the other, just taking him out, and then she stops and lets one of them just unload his clip on her. She did that just so this man could see how ineffective his weaponry was compared to her. She didn't have to just stop there and let all these bullets hit her and deflect off of her. She could have instantly taken this guy out, but no, she wanted to stand there and let you empty your clip, and then she took you out. That was sick. When her big goon threw that U-Haul van at the helicopter, that was sick. Oh, and shout out to this guy who was ready and willing to sacrifice his life just for a chance to take out these aliens. He emptied both of his guns, saw that nothing was working, and then even when he was backed into a corner, he pulls out his blade and he wants to fight. Heroic though it may be, it was also very stupid. If I shoot at a thing and my first gun empties and nothing happens to her, I pull out another gun, I empty it, and nothing happens to her as well, I'm not going to pull out a knife. I'm going to use that brief moment that she'll probably give me, hoping that I'd shit my pants, to make my last prayers for my soul and for the souls of all the loved ones that I'm going to be leaving behind, because she will inevitably take me out. And her line, and I know this line by heart because it's so legendary, when she pulls out her blade, and for some reason her blade makes a louder sound when it's taken out of its holster, and she goes, "A good death is its own reward." I have to say, this was one of the greatest lines ever said, and it was executed perfectly. Ladies and gentlemen, Faora-Ul. Battle Beast. Now, I love Battle Beasts in Invincible. After I watched season 1, and yes, I understand we are on season 2, and I've seen the episodes, but after I watched season 1, I just loved it so much that I went and I purchased the compendium, and I watched a bunch of YouTube videos about the characters, and so my two favorite characters are Thrag and Battle Beast. Now, Battle Beast The character, the bloodlust, the design, all the quotes is just superb. His cameo in the anime was so great. It was one of those fights that made me go, oh my god, multiple times. It actually made me say, oh my god, twice. The first one was when Battle Beast took out Robot. He hit him with that two-piece, the double shot, up, then down. That made me go, oh my god, because of how violent it was. And I think you know which second scene in that fight, in that penthouse, made me go, oh my god, a second time. It was, of course, when Battle Beast used his weapon to absolutely decimate Mark. This guy is so sadistic. He anticipated the blood gushing up in the air like a geyser. He lifts his head up like how you would when it's a hot, hot summer's day and the rain just starts dropping. And I'm thinking about Holes right now, the movie. You remember? The rain drops and you just want to take it all on your face. Hey, oh, whoa, big pause. Pause on that last statement. And then let's go back to Battle Beast. And then he had the audacity to do that little roar thing that big cats do and then lick his lips, lick the blood off of his face like someone had smeared chocolate all over it. If you didn't know, Battle Beast is the type of villain that goes around looking for worthy opponents to give him a good fight, a good death. A while back, I heard a story. I think I heard it from, and I could be wrong, but this is where my mind is going to right now. I think I heard it from Wonder Woman in the Justice League TV series, the animated one, about some Norse warrior who was cursed with eternal life, and the only way that he can get into Valhalla was to die in battle to like a worthy warrior, a worthy opponent. And he just went thousands of years looking for a battle. Stories like that gives me chills. I just love hearing stuff like that. And Battle Beast is essentially something akin to that. I don't want to spoil it for you, but he gets what he wants in the end. In the hands of, well, no, I don't want to spoil it for you. So anyone who hasn't already read the comics, I'm not going to tell you. Battle Beast is such a legend that he decides to exit early because of how disappointed he was with the offerings at the table. He hit him with the, ain't nothing good here, I'm just finna dip. Shout out to Black Samson for also being an idiot. This man, after witnessing what Battle Beast did to his comrades, like, you have to know that Invincible is stronger than you. And look how he got treated by this monster, this psychotic, serial, sadistic monster. I don't know what you were thinking, what you were going to do, but whatever it is, whatever it should have been, it certainly should not have been to get up, shout before you do anything, and then your weapon malfunctioning. But boy, oh boy, Battle Beast was great and Invincible. I can't wait for them to animate more so I can see more of Thok. Oh, and I almost forgot. That's what his name is. Thok. He's got a crazy sick name too. Everything about this man is awesome. And one final thing. Just like Faora, he had a crazy quote during the fight too. His quote was, "Killing you is an act of mercy." If I was a hero, that would be the most disrespectful thing that you could possibly say to me. Up next, we have Danzo. Now, I hate Danzo. If you think about it, everything wrong with the Hidden Leaf is because of Danzo. Well, technically, maybe it starts off back with the second Hokage, but things certainly could have gotten a lot better had it not been for Danzo meddling in everything. To really appreciate Danzo as a villain, you must understand his psychology. See, Danzo is one of those people who spent their whole lives striving to be the best, only to constantly come up short, to always be in the shadow of someone else, to always be second fiddle to the main man. Danzo has always been competing with Hiruzen. From the time they were little kids, Hiruzen has always been better. And in some ways, Danzo's intentions may be interpreted as good. After all he wanted, all he dreamt of, was always to be the Hokage. And who knows what kind of Hokage Danzo would have been. Certainly not a great one. The one thing you can say about Danzo, he was always willing to put the village over anyone and anything, even if it meant sacrificing the lives of few in order to save the lives of many. Danzo is the one that kills Shisui, who was one of my favorite characters. I mean, if you're a fan of speedsters, you gotta like Shisui as well. Had he not done what he did to Shisui, there's a good chance that Shisui would have used his infamous Tsukuyomi to stop an impending civil war. Danzo was also behind Itachi murdering his whole clan. Danzo is a rat, and like rats, he loves to be in the shadow. You never see him in the light, but you always see him scurrying in the darkness. He lacks empathy, and he got what he deserved. Obviously, one of his most notable scenes is this fight with Sasuke, where he introduced everyone to Izanagi. Seeing him fight Sasuke was interesting to say the least. The way he used all those dead Uchiha's eyes in battle just goes to show how sick this guy is. He still benefited from the abilities of dead people. We also have to talk about the scene when they were young and in war, and they're surrounded by cloud ninjas, and so someone comes up with the idea that they needed to have a decoy in order to distract the hidden cloud ninjas. and they ask for a volunteer. And Danzo is just a coward and he's absolutely scared shitless. So much so that he can't bring himself to volunteer, only to have Hiruzen step up like the true legend, like the true god that he is, and be the decoy. But instead of letting Hiruzen have that moment, he gets angry and throws a fit. Side note, the second Hokage has the best voice in the whole entire series. Whoever voices the second Hokage is just great, bro. Second Hokage sounds really awesome. And if you were curious, the guy who I feel like has the second best voice is Pain. In this moment right here, when the second lets him know that of course he's going to be the decoy, and then stands up to let Hiruzen know that from now on he's going to be the Hokage, always gives me chills. To be number 2 to someone who is great, because everyone considered the third Hokage to be the god of shinobi. He is a beloved man, and to always be in a man's shadow must be tough. Danzo is the evil Scottie Pippen, or actually he's just the regular Scottie Pippen. Scotty's kind of evil right now. He's been saying some crazy things about Michael Jordan. But anyways, he's also Kevin Durant. He is Cristiano Ronaldo. Being great, and yet there's a man even greater than you, constantly. It can be frustrating, and it can destroy many men, and it has destroyed Danzo. Fire Lord Ozai. Fire Lord Ozai is a very quintessential evil bad guy. I think a lot of bad guys are blinded by power and the pursuit of it. No matter how great his life is, no matter how much he has, it's never enough. And he's the type of person to where he'll have something, but he'll forget about it because he sees you with something too, and he wants what you have. This is a man who disfigured his only son. A man who's responsible for his daughter having daddy issues and becoming a psychotic, murdering, vengeful person herself. In Avatar, firebending has to be one of the most overpowered abilities. I mean, out of wind, water, earth, and fire, I would definitely personally want to be a firebender because you can also bend lightning. But then again, if you're an advanced earthbender, you can also bend metal, which is awesome. You can, can you imagine metal bending? Wait, would I essentially be Magneto, right? Isn't Magneto just a metal bender? Anyways, Ozai, the Fire Lord, was a man consumed by his large appetite. But in a way, he's a product of his environment. He was not the first, because in the past, there were plenty of misguided Fire Lords who weren't any better. I had to talk about Fire Lord Ozai because he was one of the main antagonists in Avatar, The Last Airbender, and because his fight with Aang was one of the greatest animated fights I had ever witnessed as a kid. His design is also top-notch. I mean, goatees are sinister to begin with, but imagine a sinister goatee on an actual sinister person. He also has long hair, which in the wind kind of looks like serpents, akin to like a Medusa. But then they go and make him like jacked, ripped, shredded, just to increase the intimidation level. And don't even get me started with the voice. I can't stress this enough, but I just really appreciate when they give a character a befitting and cool voice. So now imagine this grown man who's maxed out on his abilities, who's got a sinister goatee, who's got long flowing dark hair, who's jacked, ripped, shredded, and has got a voice that would send shivers down a woman in a dark alley, going against a young boy. You know, you're really evil when you fight kids. There's no more evil thing than fighting children. And oh my god, that wasn't even the only time that he did that. Not only does he fight other people's children, but this guy even fights his own children. He's clearly an insecure, cowardly megalomaniac. Now let's talk about the fight. By the way, Ozai's memorable quote in this fight is, quote, "You're weak, just like your people. They did not deserve to live in this world, in my world." An absolutely outrageous line that shows how evil, self-centered, narcissistic he is. This fight was intense from the moment it began. Fire Lord Ozai, like any other coward, was going all out against Aang. He bounced all his moves out, all his most powerful moves. This man is flying across the sky. He even busts out lightning style, but he was a little shocked when Aang almost tossed that right back at him. But that's not Aang's thing. And of course, the greatest scene in this fight is when Aang is wrapped up in that rock ball while Ozai is just hitting him with like a gigantic flamethrower. And then he, in one of the coolest parts, puts his hand up, concentrates all his power to get an extremely powerful, concentrated blast that just destroys the rock ball, sending Aang to collide with the wall behind him that had that little part poking out, that part that hit him right in that spot that puts him in that mode where his eyes are glowing. And also, whose idea was it to have his eyes glow when he's in the avatar state? Because that's just awesome, bro. It looks very intimidating and scary and cool. It was a great idea. At this point, Ozai still believes that he's got the upper hand, only for a hand to stick out and grab him by his sinister goatee, and words cannot do justice to this right here. Just pure animation masterpiece. And now, the tables have turned, and Faora-Lord Ozai is the one running like a scared child. You know, I thought to myself, I bet he's never been in a position like this before his whole life. From the moment he was born, he was always the instigator, the bully. I bet he never experienced true fear like he did being chased by Aang. And just to show what a coward he is, even when Aang decides not to take him out and turned his back on him, Faora-Lord Ozai still decided to attack him when he wasn't looking like a true coward. Ladies and gentlemen, Faora-Lord Ozai, the evil, cowardly, power-hungry megalomaniac narcissist. And you know what? That's been it for me. It's been your boy Dick Diggler. And again, special shout out to everyone. I want to especially shout out to Azil9446. I think I got that right. He hit me in the comment section. He was like, yo, I'm your 1,000 subscriber. And hopefully, I assume you're telling the truth. I really appreciate it. I appreciate everyone else who subscribes. If you are the 2,000th subscriber, I will shout you out in the next one. It's been your boy Dirk Diggler, and I'll see you in the next one.